We are on. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. We've got Lynn here. Here's what we're going to do for a warm-up, and basically this workout just jumps right in. I'll give you 2 minutes, like yesterday, to run, bike, or row. I want to explain a little bit in regards to what we've got going on today. I realize that you're probably sore if you were here yesterday, so this does take that into account. So 2 minutes, just move, run, bike, or row. And again, it doesn't have to be fast. Just moving is ideal. Now today, what I want you to understand is that we're gonna take these same movements that we've been using all week, and I guess what I failed to explain to you at the beginning of the week is that I've decided to say, hey, look, let's just take these basic movements, the push-up, the air squat, the lunge, the step-up, those shapes that are all really simple to manage, and we're just going to focus on those this week. And then next week, we're going to ramp those up to make them dynamic. So those movements then will become a little bit more compound and loaded. But today, really the only dynamic things we're doing all week are a kettlebell swing and a sumo deadlift high pull. And bless you. And so today is no different. We're going to mess around with this, and really, to be honest with you, this is mostly about just kind of reintroducing some of these movements to you all week. And you'll see that as we go through this workout, it kind of ramps up a little bit in intensity. So in about 30 seconds, we're off. Dave, are we all good? Is it working?
Do I need a box?
It is. Perfect. Nope, you don't need a box. All you need is a kettlebell for your kettlebell swing, and then you're going to probably want something heavier than a single kettlebell, or a really heavy single kettlebell for a deadlift. It's the only other movement that we're going to introduce. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, rest right there. So go through, well, hey, I didn't know you had a dog, Paul. That's nice. Yeah. Go through, count 10 squats, count 5 push-ups. So 10 squats, 5 push-ups. See you, Dave. Have a good day. Thank you for your help. Okay. I will. Okay, perfect. Thanks.
See you later.
So 10 squats, 5 push-ups, 10 lunge step. Yep. Good. And then, where's Amy? Amy, there you are. You got to be sore today, Amy. Yeah. She's barely walk. Yep, the lunge step, 10 of them. You'll go through, count 5 sit-ups. Yep, these are just these are the movements that we're using all week. There's nothing special to this warm-up. Next week we'll do some more special warm-up stuff. But right now we're going to get rolling here. When you're done with your 5 sit-ups, you've got your kettlebell, and all I want you to do, sorry, Lynn, when you're done, stay there, do 5 reverse crunches. I forgot. 5 reverse crunches as well, you guys. Yep. Perfect. And then when you're done, here's what I want to have happen. I want you to do 2 types of deadlift. Lynn, will you show us like a really high hip, like RDL? So she's got very little bend to her knees, and she feels her hamstrings a ton here. Okay, so I want you to go through and do 5 of those. As you see, Lynn did that with her hips really high. Okay, she's still showing you 5 of those. Okay, and then I want you to, Lynn, grab a heavier weight, like double that at least. So you could grab 2 of those, or like a gnarly heavyweight kettlebell. And now bend your knees and make this look more like a squat. Good. Yep. Yep, that's right. Good. So practice both of those. Now, if you only have a light weight, you're just going to do the high hip deadlift. If you've got a heavy weight, you could even use 2 kettlebells. Nice, Paul. You would do the squattier deadlift. Okay, totally fine. We're gonna roll. This is how we start. Ready? Works like this. I'll give you 5 minutes. It's really easy. Sorry, I'm in your way.
Still warm up.
Yep, this is bridging the workout right into the warm up. And I'm going to step off camera. I think it's always better. You just look at Lynn. I can talk. You can see Lynn. 5 minutes to complete the following work: 50 kettlebell swings, 50 air squat, and 50 push-up. That's easy to do in 5 minutes. 50 kettlebell swing, 50 air squat, and 50 push-up. It's gonna feel like, okay, I'm kind of getting into my workout here. By the time you're done with this 5 minutes, you're gonna be like, I'm ready to go. Okay, so you have 5 minutes, 50 kettlebell swing. There's enough time to break the kettlebell swing. Okay, you'll be just fine. Okay, 3, 2, 1, you're on 50 on the kettlebell swing. Okay, and I know this is a Wednesday, and we are still focusing, excuse me, I had to get a drink of water. We're still focusing on really trying to do the best we can to get through these movements. Now, yesterday we said, hey, look, don't just squat. My goodness, think of the position that you want to be in as you squat. And that's what I'm trying to have you do. Again, hitting on these squats and lunges and this stuff all week this week, and then next week making it more dynamic. You don't have to swing your kettlebell 50 times in a row, but if you want to, be my guest. Swing that thing 50 times in a row, no problem. So 50 kettlebell swing, 50 air squat, 50 push-up, and you can see there's plenty of time. You just did a minute here. And this is like, you can look at this like, hey, I'm trying to bridge the gap between my warm-up and my workout. And absolutely, you have enough time to kind of set the kettlebell down and tinker around a little bit and then pick it back up. Because you can crank out 50 of these in 2 minutes. You can do your air squat, 50 of them in about 90 seconds. And that's going to leave you enough time to do push-ups. You need a couple minutes to do push-ups here. And then I'll give you about 2 minutes to rest after this, or if you go over, it's okay to go over. Remember, so Lynn's finishing up here. There's the 2 minute mark. Now remember, here come those squats. You know what, I said this yesterday over and over again, but it's easy enough for you to go like, hey, I can just squat up and down, but what I really would like is if you're like, hey, I can control my feet. I'm driving my knees out hard. I'm giving this some thought. We talked a lot yesterday about saying, instead of just moving, I'm moving mindfully. And this week is the week that I want you to think about that. Next week will be moving faster. There's more dynamic, compound movements. You're 2 minutes and 45 seconds in. You got a 5 minute cap. There's 2 minutes to rest. So if you go over the 5 minute cap, I'm okay with that. And you're going to be just fine if you do. This looks right to me. You're 3 minutes in, you've got 2 minutes. You can do 50 push-ups still. But again, it's part of your bridging the warm-up into the workout. If you go over the 5 minute cap, who cares? That's not what's important at all. We'll get to that point today where we are doing that, yes, absolutely, but we're not there yet. Good, yep, and again, you can kind of see Lynn starting to work on her push-ups, and that's what she's got going. She'll probably close these out around the 5 minute mark. It doesn't have to be exactly at the 5 minute mark. That's not the point here. There's enough time for you to rest between these. Each one of these segments will get harder and harder. There's 1 minute until we've gotten to our cap, and it looks like you guys are all putting the work in. Good. Yep. You good, Amy? Good. Yep, I see you. We got two Amy's, Amy and Amy. Good. Susan, that's right. Pete, go on. So there's about 45 seconds left. If you want to race to the cap, you can. If you're like, yeah, whatever, I'll take my time and I'll work over it a little bit, that's totally fine. But again, this is high volume this week spent working on the big focus on those shapes, the squat shape, the lunge shape, the hip hinge deadlift shape, a lot of focus on those. And so I want to get those down so that next week we have a base, a really strong base for that. There's 5 seconds left until the cap, but again, like, who cares? Like, there's still 2 minutes left, and you can take as much time over this that you want. What do you got left here, Lynn? Done? Okay, Lynn's done here, just so you know, but you take your time, you guys. You have 2 minutes until we start our next series. It's 6 minutes. I'll explain this again. 6 minutes, 50 kettlebell swing, 50 lunge, 50 sit-ups. So 50 kettlebell swing again, 50 lunge step, 50 sit-up. I'll give you 6 minutes to complete that work. Okay, the lunge step is unloaded. It's just like we did yesterday for the first set, where it's 50 total, lunge step, yep, and 50 sit-up. So again, you guys have a whole nother minute before we start in on this, so you maybe want to like stand up, shake the legs out, okay? 50 kettlebell swing, 50 total lunge step, and then 50 sit-ups, 50 sit-ups. And I'll give you an extra minute to get this done. So it's a 6 minute cap on this with 2 minutes to rest before we work our way into this. And this now is, will feel a little bit more like the workout, although it's not, okay, but we will get there. Okay, we just have to take into consideration we can't crush every single day, every single minute. And so we will get there, but just be patient here. Let's roll in 10 seconds. 50 on the kettlebell swing, 50 on the kettlebell swing, 50 lunge step, 50 sit up, and you're on here. So there is enough time to break this kettlebell swing. Absolutely, you can do that. Okay, there's enough time to get that work done. You can break it, and at the same time, you'll have enough time. When you're done with the 50, it's a lunge step and then a sit-up. And if any of those don't work for you, for example, if the if the lunge step doesn't work for you, you could do like a 90-second plank, which would be challenging. But I'm just trying to condense this week into like, hey, very seldom do we go, I'm gonna just take my time and I will go through and focus deeply on the squat. I don't often give you a chance to do that with such high volume. Usually, just so you guys know, that work is only done in our warm-up. Our warm-up is usually something along the lines of, okay, let's focus on the squat for like 3 sets of 10 reps, or, you know, the push-up or the hollow hold. Now I'm taking those movements and I'm applying them to the actual training session that you're doing. So you're 90 seconds in, and maybe now your mind is a little bit more competitive, a little bit more awake, where you're like, oh, I got 6 minutes. I got to finish each one of these segments in 2 minutes, okay, or whatever it is. And if you're not there yet, by all means, don't worry. You'll get there with this. So 2-minute mark coming up. Good, guys, and this is where most of you finished last time around this 2-minute mark. So it looks like most of you are coming off. Yep, Amy, Steph, good job. Paul, there you go. Good, Susan. Yeah, there you go, Joanne. Yep. And again, you can see Lynn not just doing a lunge step. She's like, okay, I can get my knee to the ground. My back heel's straight up and down. These are the same things that we talked about yesterday. And we kind of developed this language that was a little deeper than what we already had going. Before, we talked a lot about, hey, toe forward, knee out, back flat, but then we made it applicable to you when you were fatigued, as opposed to just doing it in the warm-up, because normally we just do it in the warm-up, right? So, 3-minute mark coming up, and how long are you going to take to do your 50 sit-ups? That's fine, but that's what I want you to start to think about. I want you to start to get your mind in that place where it's challenging and it's tough to kind of connect to, where I got to really work to get to the end. Just starting to get our mind into that place. Now we're doing this warm up, the way we would normally do like a warm up for a conditioning day. We're just using our strength, body weight strength movements to get there. We're slowly ramping this up, right? And so this is equivalent to me being like, okay, so I want you to touch on your best, 1 mile pace, and then come off of it. And then let's hold it for a little bit longer, and then come off of it. So we're kind of warming you up like that. And I want you to start to think of like how your mind connects also to being competitive with the training session. So 4-minute mark just passed you by, so you have 2 minutes, and you should start to think about, like I said, how do I segment this out? How am I going to chunk this up? How am I going to think about sit-ups? Is it going to take me 2 minutes? Okay, then I better hurry up and get through my lunges. Okay, this next sequence that we're going to go through, and I will give you your 2 minutes off, this next sequence that we're going to go through is going to have a deadlift component to it. And guess what your deadlift looks like? It looks like your kettlebell swing. You've already done 100 kettlebell swings. So now you're going to have to start to think about, how do I manage that shape, that hip hinge position, protecting the spine? How do I manage that shape while I'm fatigued? Because you already had done 100. After that, you'll do 150. So a minute to go here, right? So you've got 60 seconds to go to try and close these out. Good. And one of these things on this sit-up is, some of you I'm watching, and you get that excess curve in your back where you have to like pound into the ground each time. You want to think of smooth. So you want to think of rolling down one vertebrae at a time and then initiating that movement by pressing your back into the ground. So there's no purchase that you make with your lumbar. It's just smooth the whole time. Otherwise, you can get really hot in your lower back. Good. 30 seconds to go. Lynn's done. Good. And I will give you your full 2 minutes off, but I do want to practice a couple things while you're resting or while you're recovering. So, and we do this a lot when we're live in the studio. What I want to have happen here is, I want you to make a choice, and some of you won't even have to make this choice, it's already made for you. If you have access to a set of dumbbells or kettlebells or something that would be heavy now for like 10 of these deadlifts, I want you to go ahead and grab that. Okay, something you're like, I could do 5, I could probably get to 10, I'm probably not going to go beyond that. You're fatigued. And I want you to use that load, right? It would be like, I got to really focus. This could be a suitcase type deadlift where you're seeing Lynn do it with outside her legs. You could also do it in a sumo position where you bring your feet wide, okay? And you go inside, yep, that's perfect. Okay, and you'll figure out what's most comfortable for you. Now, if you're like, I just don't have access to that load, totally fine. Completely fine. What I would ask here is that you keep your hips up in the higher position that Lynn showed you before, and we're going to add a little bit of volume. Okay, this next segment, You're gonna swing your kettlebell 50 times again. So it's 50 kettlebell swing. And then it's 50 deadlift. If you have a heavy load, it's 50 deadlift. Okay, and if that would mean like I can do 5 or 10 of them at a time and then I gotta back off, 5 or 10 again, gotta back off. If you're like, no, I could probably crank out 15 or 20 of these, I'm gonna have you do 70 of them, and I'll have you do it in a high hip position. 70 of them in a high hip position. And then when you're done with that, you'll do 50 reverse crunches. Okay, so now all of a sudden, okay, there's a little bit of tie-in here where you're like, oh, I really gotta think about this. Okay, these 50 or 70 deadlifts should be, should be a significant stimulus. And if you're like, should I do 50 or 70? Here's how you're gonna answer that question. If you can do probably 10 or more with the load that you have, then you're gonna do 70. If it's 10 or less on that first attempt, then it's gonna be 50, okay? So if you have any questions, you should unmute here. This will be kind of the first engaging set where you're like, oh boy, I got to get after this. I'll give you 7 minutes to do it. Okay, it starts with 50 kettlebell swings. Okay, and again, you want to follow along with Lynn. We'll go 7 minutes on, I'll give you 2 to break, and this is the beginning of how things spin up for you. Here we go. So this will pull you into 150 kettlebell swings, and you'll notice, isn't it interesting that kettlebell swing is the same hip hinge that your deadlift is. It's the same hip hinge. So this can be this could be tough. These bits and pieces could easily add up for you. Okay, this could be challenging for you to do, and that's okay. But what I want you to do is I want you to prioritize the things that you know. Look, I didn't spend a lot of time talking about this language, but right, we've talked about this before. Are my feet doing some work to create torsion and torque on the ground? Am I holding my breath when I'm pulling on that heavy load off the floor? Okay, is it done on a breath hold? Yeah, it should be. And the diagnostic is, hey, what's working here? Is my lower back torched? Well, it's probably a position error. So again, with this high of volume, it's always, minute gone by, it's always a good thing to think about and kind of reconnect with where you're at positionally. Good. Yep, and Lynn's going, she's still working on this, and again, you guys are too. Remember, I'm asking you now to start to like switch from like warm-up mode to compete mode, which means, okay, I got to think about getting this done in about 2 minutes. Kettlebell swing's getting hard. Okay, we normally don't swing a kettlebell 150 times. We might do it 100 times, but now we're doing 150 times. And I'm going to do a deadlift on top of it. So where does this break for me? And then how can I solve problems? So if my lower back starts to get hot, okay, can I add some slack back into the system by squatting into it more as opposed to hinging into it more? So there's the 2 minute mark right there. And again, you'll know how to do this because what will happen is if you're like, on my honest best effort, I get 10 or less, you're gonna do 50. If you're like, I can get through and do 15 or 20, you're gonna go for 70. Good. Now, you have to connect with this. If you're just deadlifting, you've missed the point of this whole week. The whole point is, okay, I'm tired, I'm racing, I'm competing, but can I go toes forward? Am I driving my knees out? Here, I'll put 3 things out in front of you to ask you if you're doing these. 1, are you still driving your knees out hard? Okay, can you feel your feet trying to spread the ground? And is your upper back, your shoulders pulled back? So there's 3 things. If you're like, oh my gosh, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just deadlifting. Well, then we're having some issues here. We're missing some things. Good. So there's 3 minutes and 15 seconds that we're in. And again, here are the 3 things I talked about. There's probably 10 things that we could list, but let's just make it simple. Are you squeezing your shoulders in the back? Are you making your lats active? Okay, remember, when you squeeze your shoulder blades in the back, all of a sudden, puts your spine, the whole spine, into a better position. Okay, are you driving your knees out hard as you squat? And then last, can you feel your feet really working on the ground? We talked a lot about this yesterday when Amy was in here. Like, hey, can I feel my feet? The arch of my foot, is it open? Am I working hard at this with my feet? Am I tearing the ground apart? Am I creating torque and stability? Remember, like, that system is part of a bigger system, and it starts at the feet, right? So my feet connected to my ankle, connected to my tib fib, connected to my femur. My femur connects to my pelvis. My pelvis is what controls my spine. My spine is my core. All of those things are related. So that's why I look at the feet first. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Good. And this will get hard to do, and I'm watching most of you. Good. And you're managing it correctly. Good. Because you've listened to the language, right? Amy, pull your shoulder blades back, drive your knees out hard. Okay, this is easy, it's easy if you're like, oh wow, I'll just deadlift this, big deal. Yep, if you're willing to say like, hey, shoulder blades pull back, drive knees out hard, work feet on ground. If you're willing to do those things, it's work. You've got 2 minutes to go here. Good, and how long do you need to do 50 reverse crunches? I don't know, you probably realistically would need 90 seconds or so. Good. Lynn, you there?
He's 70.
Good. Lynn's 70 here, so she's going to start in on her reverse crunches. You got about 1 minute and 40 seconds here to get this work done. 50 reverse crunches. Good. Yep. Well done. Amy's on it. Both Amy's are working at the same time. Good. Amy, these are reverse crunches. Amy J. There you go. That's right. Good. Go on, Susan. That's right. That looks right. Good. And you guys have 75 seconds till we get to the top. And like I said, this starts to spin up quite a bit on this round. And then we're just going to take it from here, and I'll show you what we do. We're going to take it from here. I'll show you exactly how we do this. Good. There's 45 seconds to go, and none of this was meant up until this point to be really challenging. This piece now, of course, was meant to be tough. Good. And we're getting there. You got about 15 seconds. Good. Good, good. 10 seconds. Lynn, you can make it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right there. Good. And if you have to work over, by all means, work over. Okay, not an issue. Most of you are. You have 2 minutes, and I will give you your full 2 minutes of rest. Well done.
150 kettlebell swings.
With the deadlift. Lynn said 150 kettlebell swings is a lot. Yes, it is. So you guys have 90 seconds before we start this. Now, I think some of you might remember. You remember this burpee challenge that we used to do? We would do it once a year. It was like this 20 minutes of burpee interval. Okay, so we're just taking the last 7 minutes of this, and we're going to do it right now. So it's going to go every minute on the minute. We're going to take 7 minutes of it. Okay, I'll do the clock. You'll follow along with Lynn. 13 burpees, 12 burpees, 14 burpees, 16 burpees, 7, and then 19. Which is, the last 7 minutes is the hardest part. Okay, the last 7 minutes was the hardest part of this.
Is this the end of the workout?
No, there's one more thing after this. Okay, one more thing. So 13, 12, I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. I just want you to realize 14, 16, 7, and 19. Now, for those of you who are like, you know what? There's no way I can't do, I can't even do 10 burpees in a minute. You're asking me to do 19 burpees in a minute. Okay, there's a really nice way that you could think about, that you may want to think about making this work for you. You could do half burpees, and half sit-up or half push-up, right? So if I'm like, hey, we're going to do 14 burpees, you could do 7 burpees and then 7 sit-up or 7 push-up, okay? Otherwise, if you're like, no, bring it on, whatever. Follow along with Lynn. Okay, my clock rolls in 10 seconds. We're starting with 13 burpees in a minute. 13 burpees in 1 minute. Ready? 3, 2, 1. You're on. 13 burpees in a minute, standing all the way up each time, all the way down to the bottom each time. 13 burpees in a minute. Good. Well done, guys. And now this is just like fitnessing, right? This is like, hey, I'm just gonna get out of breath. I'm gonna move. Okay, you don't have to worry about much. This is just work. You're just putting work in. 13 in a minute. Good job. 30 seconds left. And remember, the hard part about this burpee challenge is that it's just one right after the other. Lynn's done. There's 20 seconds to go. Good. Amy's done. Good. Amy J's done. Good. Yep, Susan's there. Amy Lincoln's there. Everyone's there. 7 seconds. This is 12 burpees in the next minute. 5 seconds till we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. 12 burpees in this next minute. And again, you know, whatever, we spend some time thinking about the squat position, the lunge position, the deadlift position. Now it's like, okay, whatever, enough of that. Let's just train. And so we're using the burpee as the mechanism to be like, get me out of breath, my heart rate's going, my legs are fatigued, my shoulders are tired. You know, you just have the freedom to go here. Now you need 12 of them. There's 30 seconds left. The next minute is 14. Remember, this builds, then there's a minute of kind of lighter, and then it crushes you at the end. So 14 here, and 15 seconds will start. Looks like Paul's there. Good job. Okay, clock rolls in 10 seconds. Good, we're on in 7 seconds. This is 14 again, 14. Ready? Here we go, you're on. 14, let's go. Good job. Yep, good. Amy, Paul, let's go, Paul, let's go. Yep, you're trying for 14. Again, if you're like, wait, I gotta scale this down, scale it down. That's totally fine. You could do 7 burpee and 7 push-up. There's 40 seconds. This is 14. We're going to build one more time after this, and then there'll be a down minute. But again, the thing that sucks here is that you go right from one to the other. So it's like, I stand up, I got 5 seconds to rest, and I got to go? Yes. Good. There's 24 seconds, 23 seconds till we go, you guys. 20 seconds. 15 seconds, and we're on. Okay, this is 16, okay? This is 16. Okay, ready? 5 seconds. So some of you are going to roll this one right into the next. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, you're going. Yep, let's go, Amy. Good. Yep, go on, Paul. Going for 16. Susan, Pete, well done. Good, Mark. Good. 16 is where we are at. And the good news is you can take this all the way up to the end of the minute, because the next minute is 7. The next minute is 7, you guys. Hold on, Lynn. 30 seconds. If you follow along with Lynn, she'll make it. Good. There's 25 seconds. Good job, guys. There's 15 seconds to go. Good, well done, Lynn. This next one, and you've got 10 seconds, is just 7. So however you want to do this, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. This is just 7. This is just 7. Good, well done. Very nicely done. Just 7. That's all it is. Good, Lynn. Good, guys. 45 seconds here to go. Good. There's 35 seconds. Last one's 19, just so you know. Okay, last one is 19. And again, yeah, I told you, like this is, it builds up to this and then that's it. And like I said before.
What's the next one?
19, this is the peak. This is minute.
You said 7.
Didn't you just do 7?
I thought you said it's 7 minutes.
No, it is 7 minutes. So this is, ready?
Yeah.
This is, you just got done doing 7 reps, right? Yep, so this is 19. Here we go. Yeah, I don't know how, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, sorry, there's 1 after this on the last minute. Remember, Lynn?
Yeah.
Yep, good. 50, 5-0, you guys. 50 seconds left. Good. Good, yeah, and Lynn pointed out, you guys, when you're done with this 30 seconds, there's 1 left on the last minute, but big deal. Okay, 25 seconds to go. And again, it's 19 here, 20 seconds to go. If there's a way to make it, go for it. Okay, if not, take it all the way up to the end. Good, guys, there's 10 seconds now left on this. Well done. Got it, Lynn?
Yeah.
Well done. 5 seconds, guys. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then this last minute is 1. Yeah, so there you go. You're done. Good. Good, guys. Yep. Rest there. Okay. I'll give you the remainder of this minute. I'll give you 1 more minute. And the last thing here is some conditioning work. It's 7 minutes. Okay, you're going to run, bike, or row, and your goal is to try and get to a mile. Okay, you can run, bike, or row. You have 7 minutes. Your goal is to try and get to a mile, or as close as you can to a mile. So it's 1 mile, or as close as you can to a mile. My clock will roll in about 80 seconds. It's a 7-minute effort. Okay, and the whole goal here is, hey, I'm going to get as close as I can to 1 mile in 7 minutes. Okay, you can pick what you want to do, run, bike, or row. Okay, however you want to go about doing it. If you don't have a place to run, bike, or row, you could easily turn this into like plank, sit up, squat, lunge, right? You do each one of those for a minute and you're set if you do a couple rounds like that. Otherwise, in 45 seconds, you'll have 7 minutes. You can either run, you can bike, you can row, but your goal is to get as close as you can to 1 mile. As close as you can to 1 mile. Okay? Clock rolls in 30 seconds here, you guys. Best you can, close as you can to 1 mile. Run, bike, or row. Okay? Rolling in 10 seconds. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you are on. Good. And I will be right back. I'm just going to use the restroom. All right, guys. Good work. One 7-minute effort, coming as close as you can. Minute in. Yep, and Lynn's at about 300 meters, just so you know, because I know some of you do want to know. So Lynn's sitting about a little over 300 meters here as she passed that minute mark. So she's moving. 90 seconds in, and what'll happen here as we move along is I will ask you, once you get to your mile, if you could show me by coming off, that would be great. Two minutes, so we're 2 minutes in, and Lynn's coming up on the 500 meter mark at 2 minutes, just so you know. And, you know, if she can hold on to this, she'll make it. Again, doing whatever it is that you can do here to just stay connected to your work would be great. We've got Pete, we've got Susan, Paul's cooling down, Joanne, I think, doing some work. Everybody else has dropped off and bailed out of the challenge. But that's okay. We're coming up here on the 3-minute mark, and Lynn is going to pass 700 meters, just so you know, at the 3-minute mark. Good. So on track here, I think John did it in like 6:45, just so you know. Good, Pete. Yep, and Paul, looks like you all right, Paul? You got a contact lens issue? Foam rolling, got it. Good for you. Okay, yep. Good. 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Remember, 7-minute cap. Good, Lynn. Yep. So as we get close to this 4-minute mark, Lynn is going to pass 900 meters, I believe, by the time we hit 4 minutes. So again, she's on track to do it. We'll see how you fall here, Pete and Susan. Yep, if you can hang with her, that would be great. Let's see how this turns out for you. Good. 4-minute, 15-second mark now passing you by. Four and a half. Good. And Lynn's well above the 1,000-meter mark here. Yep, so I know how her mind works, and she sees the end as soon as she hits the 1,000-meter mark. So she's picking it up here. No pressure, Susan or Pete. Good. So 5 minutes coming up. This will give us 2 minutes to the cap. And here's an update. 11:50. So that's where Lynn is at. 11:50. Good. Well done. 5.5 minutes. Lynn going to 1,300 almost on this, just so you know. Susan, Pete. Good, Joanne. Well done. So coming very close to this, 6 minutes. Any chance? Good. And Lynn at 1400 almost at this marker. So there she is, 1400 right there. Yep, and she's got less than a minute. You guys all have less than a minute so far. Nobody coming off yet. Susan, Pete, any chance? Let's watch and see how this unfolds here. Good, 25 seconds. Lynn's got about 100 meters to go, just so you know. Good, 30 seconds, guys. 20 seconds to go. 15 seconds. Pete, Susan. 8. And she's there with 5, 4. Oh, you guys finished at the same time. Rest, recover, yes. Well done, guys. Good. Rest, recover right there. Hey, good work today. Good job, crew. Yeah, well done, guys. Good, Pete, Joanne. Hey, thanks for joining. We're back out tomorrow again, and I will see you guys hopefully same time tomorrow. If you have any questions, hit me up. Bye, guys.